Helen of Troy was the most beautiful woman in the world, according to Greek legend. She was the daughter of Zeus and Leda, and the wife of Menelaus, the king of Sparta. She was also the cause of the Trojan War, when she eloped with Paris, the prince of Troy, who had been promised her by Aphrodite, the goddess of love. The war lasted for 10 years and ended with the destruction of Troy by the Greeks, who used a wooden horse to enter the city. But what happened to Helen after that? Did she return to Sparta with Menelaus? Did she stay in Troy with Paris or his brother Deiphobus? Did she go to Egypt or Rhodes? Did she die or become immortal? There are different versions of her fate in ancient sources, and we are going to explore some of them in this video. The most famous and popular version of Helen's fate is the one given by Homer in his epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey. According to Homer, Helen regretted leaving Sparta with Paris and wished to return to Menelaus. She also helped the Greeks during the war by revealing the identities of some Trojan warriors who were disguised as Greeks. When Paris was killed by Philoctetes, a Greek archer, Helen married his brother Deiphobus, but she betrayed him to Menelaus when he entered Troy with Odysseus. Menelaus spared her life and took her back to Sparta, where they lived happily ever after. Homer portrays Helen as a victim of fate and divine intervention, rather than a malicious seductress. He also shows her as a loyal and loving wife to Menelaus, who forgives her for her infidelity. Another version of Helen's fate is the one given by Euripides in his play Helen. According to Euripides, Helen never went to Troy at all, but was taken by Hermes to Egypt, where she was protected by King Proteus. The Helen that went to Troy with Paris was a phantom created by Hera, who wanted to punish Paris for choosing Aphrodite over her in a beauty contest. The phantom was also destroyed when Troy fell. Meanwhile, Menelaus wandered around the Mediterranean after the war, until he reached Egypt and found the real Helen there. They escaped from Egypt with the help of Theoclymenus, an exiled king who wanted to marry Helen. They returned to Sparta and lived happily ever after. Euripides presents Helen as an innocent and faithful wife who was separated from her husband by the gods. He also criticizes the absurdity and cruelty of the Trojan War, which was fought over a fake image. A third version of Helen's fate is the one given by Herodotus in his histories. According to Herodotus, Helen did go to Troy with Paris, but she was not well received by the Trojans, who blamed her for their misfortunes. When Troy was captured by the Greeks, she was taken by Menelaus, who wanted to kill her for her betrayal. However, when he saw her beauty, he changed his mind and spared her life. They sailed back to Greece, but they were driven off course by a storm and landed in Egypt. There they met King Thonis, who recognized them and informed King Proteus. Proteus questioned them and learned that they had been involved in the Trojan War. He condemned them for their wickedness and ordered them to leave Egypt immediately. Herodotus portrays Helen as a beautiful but immoral woman who caused a lot of trouble for both Greeks and Trojans. He also shows Menelaus as a weak and indecisive man who was easily swayed by his wife's charms. A fourth version of Helen's fate is the one given by Pausanias in his description of Greece. According to Pausanias, Helen did return to Sparta with Menelaus after the Trojan War, but she was not welcomed by her stepsons, Megapenthes and Nicostratus, who hated her for causing their father's absence and their mother's death. They drove her out of Sparta and she fled to Rhodes, where she sought refuge with Polyxo, the widow of Tlepolemus, a hero who had died in the Trojan War. Polyxo pretended to be friendly with Helen, but she secretly plotted revenge for her husband's death. She sent some women dressed as Erinyes to attack Helen while she was bathing in a spring. They hanged her from a tree and left her body there. Pausanias presents Helen as a tragic figure who suffered for her beauty and her destiny. He also shows the consequences of her actions on the lives of others who were affected by the Trojan War. These are some of the most interesting and contrasting versions of Helen's fate after the Trojan War. As you can see, there is no definitive answer to what happened to her, but rather a variety of possibilities that reflect different perspectives and interpretations of her character and role in the myth. What do you think of these versions? Which one do you prefer or find more plausible? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.